Thank you so much, Ayako-san, for welcoming us today at the Fukuda Art Museum. We're just outside of Kyoto in a celebrated location.
Sophie-san, thank you so much for coming to Arashiyama, which is really popular among tourists nowadays coming from overseas. But it has been loved since the ancient times for scenic beauty. There have been lots of villas of emperors and aristocrats in those days, over 1,000 years. It's a great honor for us to have built this museum in this particular place.
The view we enjoy and the architecture are so striking.
Thank you.
Could you tell us a bit about the building and its design?
Sure. So this museum is designed by an architect, Koichi Yasuda, who is the architect of a Polar Museum in Hakone. He wants to build this museum as a traditional Japanese warehouse to protect the important works of art with a modern texture in it, and also incorporate these beautiful surroundings into the museum garden as well. However, because of the strict regulation of the city of Kyoto, it was a real challenge for us to build this glass and steel building here in Arashiyama. For example, you might think, these white patterns are a bit distracting if you would like to enjoy the outside scenery, right? But this is one of the examples that we face the challenge with the Kyoto city because they normally limit the area of transparent glass up to 30% maximum. But Mr. Yasuda wanted to use the glass because of the beautiful outside scenery. So we add this pattern on the glass, and we asked the city of Kyoto to regard these white patterns as wall. So these designs are based upon our traditional patterns, which is called ajiro, the fisherman's net.
And so that way the architect would incorporate traditional Japanese motif into his contemporary design.
That's exactly what we did.
What kind of collection does the Fukuda Art Museum present?
So we have about 2,000 Japanese paintings from 17th century to 20th century. And currently we have a special exhibition about Ito Jakuchu. So Ito Jakuchu was born in Kyoto in 18th century. He was a son of the wealthy vegetable wholesaler. He started to learn paintings in his 30s. His highly depiction, vivid color, and good technique still fascinates us living in modern era.
Could you show us some of the highlights?
Absolutely. First of all, I would like to introduce Rooster and Hen with Turnips. It is thought that this painting was created by Jakuchu in his early 30s, making this his earliest known work so far. It is said that Jakuchu kept chickens in his garden, observed them, and painted them. The rooster is depicted with its long head, chest, and tail stretching horizontally, while the hen crouches in the turnip leaves in the lower part of the composition. The rooster's neck and giblets, for example, are very precisely drawn. The tail, on the other hand, is too long and does not accurately capture the proportions of the rooster as a whole. This irregularity is precisely what makes Jakuchu so fascinating. Another work I would like to show you, Sophie, is this, carps. The right composition shows a carp swimming underwater, while on the left is a jumping carp that creates a splash of water behind it. The depiction of long whiskers across the mouth is characteristics of the Nagasaki-ha, a group of painters active in Nagasaki those days, so we can understand that Jakuchu took inspiration from them for this painting. However, the heads of the fish are in dark ink, and the scales behind the gills are painted with the sujimegaki technique in a way that only Jakuchu could have achieved. It's a technique in which ink is blurred onto paper made of bamboo, and white lines are drawn between the ink by controlling the blurring. He had a great control of the ink and its consistency.
And it is thrilling to be here now because you're presenting a remarkable painting by Ito Jakuchu that was only very recently rediscovered. Can you tell us about it?
Yes, I'm delighted to. This scroll with fruits and vegetables was discovered just last year, and no one knew its existence. For many years, it was in private hands in Europe. Jakuchu painted this about 3 meters long scroll when he was in his 70s. It depicts about 50 fruits and vegetables. As you see, some are traditional Kyoto vegetables and some are tropical fruits imported from overseas. The pictures convey a genuine love and the artist's appreciation of the goods he handled at his family's business. We cannot help admiring the beautiful color that still exists. On the final panel, his close friend Daiten, a monk of Shokokuji Temple, added an inscription saying that the work was created for Mr. Mori Genkyo in Osaka. We don't know who he is yet, but this is such a precious discovery to proceed further research of Jakuchu's works.
I noticed that the museum really strives to be accessible to everyone. There is a good amount of information in English, and you also encourage visitors to talk among themselves and even take photographs.
So thanks very much for the nice compliments, and we would like to open doors for those who are not necessarily keen on Japanese arts as well as art lovers. So I would like to take more people to take interest in Japanese traditional work that we have inherited. For example, we provide audio guide for free, both in Japanese and English. So if you visit Kyoto, please add the Fukuda Art Museum to your travel plan, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you so much, Ayako-san, for welcoming us at the museum today.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.